Hey guys, good afternoon. Happy Wednesday.
Happy
I'm
Wednesday.
yes, I'm the host, Charmaine Armstrong, speaking facts in 15, and I'm here with my dad.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Juan Stewart. I'm the co-host of Speaking Facts in 15-ish. That's
That's right, 15-ish. I let him say it this week.
right.
And this week, we're coming to you with, again, personal value, personal worth. And that's why we got this intro song. This is I Love My Life. You know, we all go through things, but we want to talk about the things that we do to make sure that the things that we go through does not devalue us. How about that? You like that, Dad?
That's right. That's right. The things we go through are supposed to strengthen us and not supposed to break us down. So,
That's right.
yeah. So at the end of the day, we can say we love our life. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. We had a good intro.
That's right.
So our
And
speaking
don't forget
facts.
to mention the Patreon. I was just gonna
Yes.
say, don't.
Yeah, exactly. So our Speaking Facts in 15 is brought to us by Kiss Wealth Now. And we also have a Patreon for anyone who wants to speak with us one-on-one about the things that we talk about or even upcoming topics that you want to, have discussed on this podcast. Because again, we want to come to you guys weekly with just transparency, things to make your life preferably easier, make our lives easier. We're here for you just as much as we want you here for us. We want to learn from one another. Is that good, Dad?
That's good. That's good. We want to share information and learn from it and just empower and edify each other's lives. You know.
That's right. That's right. So last week when we were talking, we left off with, again, just personal value, personal worth, and that the things that we put ourselves into bring value. So one of the quotes, Dad, that you sent to me, and I loved was, and this is by, I'm gonna read it here. This is Lou Hetz, and basically it says, "Show me someone who's done something worthwhile, and I'll show you someone who's overcome adversity." And so I thought that was very significant because when we see people that I don't want to say put on a pedestal, but someone who's been raised or elevated, we wonder how
Mhm.
did they get there? We're always in awe when they are transparent enough to share their story, and their story has enough milestones.
Yes.
Enough milestones that where we would be like, that would have turned me around, but you persevered through. I might have made a U-turn, but that person, persevered. They kept going through. So when they get to what we call the other side, then they have a story to tell. They have a testimony. And so that's kind of, that's the message. You see people looking all glittery and shiny and sparkly, but what did it take to them to get to that point?
Yeah. And when you were talking, a song by Mary popped into my head. I forget the name of it, but it talks about what you see, the glitz and the glamour, everything, but you don't see me when I go home and, hit my knees and pray and what I'm going through. You don't see that part. All you see is the shiny part, the shiny
That's
brand new part, But if a person has achieved something, they've gone through something. One of the quotes that I saw that I really liked was by Winston Churchill. He said, "If you're going through hell, keep going." you know,
How you
you know,
doing?
go and keep going. Because if you keep going, you'll get out of it. So,
That's right.
And I know that you wanted to kind of talk about, a little some things that you had shared that you had endured or things that you had gone through and how you kept going.
Right. And so what I was telling my dad about, and he probably forgot, but when I reminded him this morning, he was like, "Oh yeah, you did go through that. Yeah." So today I said, I wanted to be a little transparent and share, a little bit about me personally. And one of the things that, at that time when I was going through it 29 years ago, I was divorced, okay, and bankrupt, and that's how, and I was a single parent, and that's a lot to go through at one time, married, divorced, bankrupt, single parent. And, at that time, what was unsurmountable debt, which was only a couple of $1,000s in debt. But at that time, I didn't have a way of paying it. I didn't even see a way of how I could pay it. And while I needed to be strong for my daughter, I had to do the things that I needed to overcome, I really had to do for me so I could be a better parent to my daughter. And
Mm-hmm.
so, now looking back, I would tell that girl, like, you got this. What are you stressed about? What are you worried about? But at that time, what was my out for me was actually changing my location. That was very key, very significant for me. So that way I could see my personal worth and I could see my personal value. Because if I would have stayed where I was at, then I would not have been able to see that. And so, sometimes when these things are happening to us, it definitely brings about that change. And for me, that change was very, very positive. Had I not done it, who knows, but you cannot be afraid of change, especially when the things that are happening to us that make us question our worth or they make us question our value.
Yeah. When things don't change, they don't change. So,
That's right.
So change is beneficial. It can be scary. It can make us anxious. And I know that when change makes me anxious, and this is how I deal with it. There's a Bible verse that says, "Be anxious for nothing." I think it's Corinthians 4:6. I think, or Philippians 4:6. It says, "Be anxious for nothing, but with prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, make your requests known to the Lord." So, if I start getting nervous, I do like the Mary song says, I go into my space, and I pray and I reflect on the things that are important and the things that I have to offer and the things that I have to give, instead of the things that would keep me from achieving. There's another quote that I looked at this morning. It said, instead of worrying about what you can't control, shift your energy to what you can create.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
And being a little transparent about me, I of course I'm older, so I have more things to be transparent about.
You got a couple more miles on you,
Yeah. My car got a few more miles on it, but but I just,
it's good anywhere.
But for me, because I my divorces and breakups have been just, I can't tell you how devastating they were for me. In fact, I think you saw me experience some of it when I first got to Texas. So I can't tell you how devastating that they have been and how it was difficult to see beyond the moment of despair that I was in. But when we experience those moments, we've got to be able to raise our head up above. We got to be able to raise our head up above where we, what we're looking at, so that we can see beyond it. And and just being in those situations, starting to use drugs, crack cocaine, and all kind of other stuff, being transparent, it just, it made me very helpless and hopeless. And someone told me a couple days ago, we were talking about people that are incarcerated, and he had shown me a study that said at least 50% of the people that are incarcerated right now could walk out of the jail if they thought that they could be forgiven, if they thought they could if they really believed they had a fresh start, if they thought they could be forgiven. So beating ourselves up is something that I think that we both are touching on. The moments when we were beating ourselves up instead of getting up, we were beating ourselves up.
Right. Self-sabotage.
Yes.
Yeah. And how do we break that? And it's, you think about the things that you put in front of your own self, and as the old folks say, get out of your own self way. How do you do that? How do you say, okay, I'm going to move forward, I'm going to put one foot in front of the other? And that's an interesting comment that you just made, just thinking about all the people who are locked up, who would choose to stay there because they feel like, one, they couldn't be forgiven, or two, they could not be a productive part of society through self-sabotage. And then, and that's very, very sad, and again, we're just talking about, honestly, just things that happen every day. We all know someone who is locked up, or someone who's experienced drugs, someone who's gone through a divorce, going through a divorce, or just trying to figure out what that next step is. But the answer, I think, to all of it is realizing that you have value. So therefore, you're making yourself strong enough to fight through that situation. There's, you can knock down that brick wall. Like you got in your background.
That's like there's one behind me.
There's one behind you, and you can knock that down. You can knock that brick wall down, and you can go through it. But we're kind of, our topic again is personal value and personal growth, but, how do you have a strong mind? Because we all go through things every single day, but how do we have a
Yeah.
strong enough mind to push through? For example, you brought up drugs and turning to drugs, and hey Jackie, how you doing? And glad you could tune in. How do you have a strong enough mind to say, you know what, I'm going to quit doing drugs, or I'm going to stop smoking, or I'm going to, the things that are holding you back, because it
Yes.
definitely does take a commitment to yourself.
Right. But you have to believe that you are worth more than the things that are holding you back. And we're talking about that worth again. You have to believe that you have more value than the circumstances situations or circumstances that you're going through. You have to believe that you have more value than them, that you are worth more than they are, that you are meant to go farther than they are, that you are meant to leave them behind, actually. I was thinking about that, just Biggie's song "More Money, More Problems." I always used to say that I could use some different problems. I know you're not going to have a life without any problems, but just elevating yourself so that you have some different ones, some different challenges.
Right, exactly. And I love how you said, I'm going to have problems, but let me just get a different set.
Yeah, let me have a different set. Yeah.
Maybe go ahead and let me get some lighter ones this time, and I promise I'll be ready for the 13-pound problem next time.
Right. Yeah, let me lift the 10-pound problem right now.
Yeah, exactly. And now, and I think even now, and we talked about this. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. We were talking about like this issue with fentanyl, or just some of the things that are going on right now. And it's like, how do we can talk about it all we want to, but obviously everybody knows drugs are bad. But if a person is going through a pain or a shift in their life to where they feel like, hey, this drug that I'm going to take is going to take me out of the situation, and it's going to make my situation easier, and I don't care about the ramifications. I don't care about what it is, because at this point in time, this drug is more valuable than my life. This drug is more valuable than my family. What advice would you give to somebody in that situation? Because a lot of times, again, we know, it's like we're a broken record. Personal value, personal worth, but how does that person find that? What is the advice that you would give?
Well, I know that for myself, my values are steeped in biblical principle. I can't tell other people what foundation that their values should stand on. But I would suggest finding that foundation, whatever it is for you. Find the foundation that you can stand on, so that you can pick your values up and take them with you. If you're standing in quicksand, you can't pick anything up because you're too busy trying to get your footing. So just finding, I'm not, and like I said, my foundation is biblical principle, but I would encourage everyone to find that foundation and that foundation should bring you peace. By the way, I want to hear the Raul Nefer Amen, the Shechem or Shechem of the Sarah Set Society, speak at UC Berkeley, and it was a very stressful day. My car got towed away on the way to to listen to him speak and everything. And I may have mentioned this before, but I don't remember too much of what he said. But the one thing I do remember that he said it doesn't really matter as much what you believe, whether you believe you are Christian or Muslim or whether you are a Jew, or what it doesn't matter as much what you believe as does it support you, does it bring you peace, does it bring you joy, does it allow you to have love for yourself and your fellow man. Those are the things that are important. If your belief system, right, if your belief system doesn't allow you to, if it doesn't bring you any peace, if it doesn't bring you any joy, if it doesn't allow you to experience happiness, because that's a choice, but still your belief system should allow you to look up. Even when things are going down, you still should be able to look up. You should be able to find a reason, and that's what we're talking about, a reason to push through whatever's going on in your life so we can get to the other side. I like, and I know that most of us have heard of Dr. Seuss. I found a quote by Dr. Seuss that said, "I've learned there are troubles of more than one kind. Some come ahead, some come from behind." He said, "But I've brought a big bat and I'm ready." He said, so you see my troubles, now my troubles are going to have to look out for me. Instead of me looking out for them, now my troubles have to look out for me.
And I love that. And you said two key words that I'm going to, Cliff Notes is BS, and we all have BS, and we welcome others to our BS. Our people who are watching us, we're welcoming you to our BS. And our BS is our belief system.
Right.
That was my funny joke. You like how I led up to that? Welcome to the BS in 15.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Welcome to BS in 15. That's right.
that could be a new title. That but it is that we're again inviting you into our belief system. Thank you. I love our BS too, Jackie, because I like y'all BS. So yeah, I mean, we just want you guys to again, this is just a lighthearted version in a short amount of time, but we're just trying to give everyone nuggets and again, inspire ourselves because, for me, sharing that, by the time I was 20, I had been married, divorced, and bankrupt. I was a single mom. That was a lot. And at that time, like I said, I had to change my location so I could believe in myself, so I could change the trajectory of what it was that I was headed towards. And at that time, I didn't know what, but I knew it had to be better than what I was coming out of. And I knew it was better than what I was going through. And that was my belief at that time, and it was the right decision for me. And I remember people saying to me when I was changing my location, you're going to make it harder for me to help you. You're going to make it harder for me to be there for you. And I was like, but if you wanted to be there for me, if you wanted to help me, no matter where I'm at, you would find a way, but it just meant that I was going to stand on my own 2 feet and I was going to persevere. I knew that where I was at was that quicksand, and so, and then even that you saying, the things that you were going through, the divorces, how it changed your life, and you got a black card, like you got more miles than me.
That's right. That's right. But I was about to say, look, changing. One of my favorite songs, Good Thoughts, Bad Thoughts, there's a line that says, change your mind and you change your relationship to time. That's what we're talking about. When you change your mind, that you change your relationship to the time. And you were able to get from a bankrupt, destitute single mother to a place where you were a makeup artist. Next thing you knew, if memory serves me.
That's correct. That's right.
Me
over.
You made other people over, made yourself over,
That's right.
And even in my moments of despair, just by hanging on to the values that your grandfather, your grandmother, my mother and father gave me, hanging on to those values, being able to hear the things that they taught me to say, the sayings that they would say to me when things were wrong, or if I needed encouragement, hanging on to those things, listening to those things in my head while I was on my knees crying or whatever I was doing, helped me to get back up and to keep going, because we're going to fall. We're going to, there's going to be problems and situations. In fact, the definition of strife is just 2 entities sharing the resources of a particular place. Now that strife will become stress when we don't want to share, when we fight about those resources instead of sharing them. But we're going to have issues that come up in our lives. It's how we deal with them that is the measure of us.
And I guess as we get more mature in life, we have 5 on it. We start off in the positive because life allows us to deal with those things better. So while we're over our 15-ish in our closeout is basically, I think what we're saying is our saying is that we really have to speak things as though they are supposed to be.
That's right. Speak on things that are not as though they are,
That's right. That's right.
You have to be able to see what it is you want. You have to keep it. You have to be able to see it up here, and you have to be able to keep it in front of you, so that we have, and I shouldn't say you, I should say we, so that we have something to strive for. We always need something to strive for. That gives us a reason to push forward, is having that thing to strive for. When we feel like we don't have anything to strive for, then we stop striving. We stop pushing forward.
That's right. And so we don't let nothing shut us down. We hope you guys don't let anything shut you down. And if you believe that there's something that you want to do, just do it. One, announcement that I have for the viewers, and I probably should have started off with it, but we'll save the best for last. Um, I'm going to be the new host for a Emmy-nominated TV show. It's called American Dream TV, and so that will be probably filming in May and airing in June. So those are things that I wanted to happen. That's something that I spoke as though it would happen, and it's going to happen. And so I'm glad to be able to bring you guys along with us
Yes.
on this journey. So, is there anything else you
And
want to add?
a big congrats and shout out to my brilliant daughter. You know, because
Thank you.
ever forward. You know what I'm saying, and that's what we're talking about. Just keeping your push forward turned on. You know, we gotta be pushing forward because it's easy to sit still, but when we do, life passes us by. And as we speak, even now, I've got things that I need to clean up from my sitting still periods and letting life pass me by. You know, so it's a process that we all go through, but being comfortable with the process means that the process works better for us. You know, that we just have to be comfortable with pushing forward, being comfortable with getting up when we get knocked down, being comfortable knowing that we can. You get knocked down, like, I'm getting back up on you. You knock me down, but you ain't stopping me.
They ain't stopping nothing, and nothing out, because we got 5 on the next one, or
That's right.
20. And guess what? And if we don't personally have it, we have our support system that have it.
That's
and
right.
They lift us up and push us through. So sometimes it means that you have to surround yourself with those people that can help get you through those times. So with that being said, we're gonna close out with "I Love My Life." I
Yep.
know
Don't forget about how do they get to the Patreon, Charlie?
I'm gonna put it. Look, I've been promising to put it in the link in the comment, and I'm gonna do it. It will be there this week, and y'all can check it out. And hopefully you will enjoy your life this week, and hopefully you will come back and join us next week for our show, our Speaking Facts in 15 ish.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
We'll be here. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. See you next time.